Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
So Markel says that Europe can no longer rely on the USA. See, Trump meets the Pope. Pope's not happy in the picture. Let's see, we are formally withdrawn from the climate summit meeting. Oh, come on. Really? This is progress, huh? This is America first, right? This is Make America Great Again, right? You know, what? So we can't believe in we can't believe in climate change, and all of this nonsense is for our safety. And what the hell, Kathy Griffin? Now, you know that's not an accurate portrayal of that giant man-child we have in office right now. At the end of the day, we don't want him to look like that, per se, but we damn sure don't want him to be president. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. Welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
Attention car shoppers. Right now at South Carolina Federal Credit Union, you can get a new or used auto loan and pay nothing until 2024, and no payments for 90 days means nothing out of pocket going into the new year. Plus, we have flexible rates and terms, so you could make the best financial choice for you. Learn more at scfederal.org/auto loans. That's scfederal.org/auto loans. Certain restrictions apply. Existing South Carolina Federal credit loans are excluded.
Hello, J360 Legion, and welcome back to the J-Man Show for episode 27. Apparently we got a lot to talk about today. So, the ignorance is not just national anymore, it's global now because of everything that the 45th Retrograde has done lately. So, have you all noticed that now we are not going to the climate meeting where we discuss what's going on in our environment around us with the other nations? As a matter of fact, we have shown the crack of our ass to the other nations to the point where they're just saying, you know what, let's just not invite them anymore. Yeah, see, this whole thing with this whole agenda with Donald Trump is just, how can I say it? It makes me want to puke. Much like anything else, any sort of progress that we have made leading up to this point, it's now in void, right? Because now we are going back into that way where we're not just isolating ourselves from the few allies we have. We're over here playing, hey, let's go ahead and hang out with our enemies for a while. Let's make deals with them. Of course, Trump's going to get back pay some way or another because, you know, found every dirty trick he can to go ahead and get that sort of thing. Because you notice that all the countries that we're trying to be buddy-buddy with right now have access to a Trump tower somewhere. You understand that, right? You've noticed that pretty much the country is sold out. Though he'll look at us and say it's for our safety because we all want to feel safe, you know? But considering all this xenophobia and semi-Gestapo tactics that are going on around here, yeah, it's getting real ridiculous. Not to mention the Red Dawn and all that sort of thing. I'm trying not to go ahead and do that sort of thing, but considering this is the J-Man Show, I really don't have much of a choice. Because I can't turn a blind eye to this nonsense, and neither can all of you, especially those that have really been paying attention to what the hell is going on. I mean, all this stuff in different fronts. The man doesn't even have a complete staff, and he's just finding ways to destroy our reputation with other countries. I don't know whether it's by presence or by action, but I do know this much. Even the Pope is very disappointed. Take a good look at his picture in that one picture where he's standing there with the Trumps. You understand what I'm saying? There is no success or any sort of progress going on here, no matter how many times he tries to tell you that. And then what the hell is Covfefe anyway? Yeah, you all saw that mistype that he made, right? See, the man already done gave away certain secrets beneficial for us towards Russia anyway. And then there's more issues with the Russia probe going on, the investigation going any which way there, and then he's gone global with this, and then all of a sudden Ben Carson in the news with his crazy self, and God, too much. Incompetence Inc. is really riling up in terms of incompetence now. And then allegedly, one of his communication dispatchers, no, not allegedly, he actually did. One of his communication dispatchers also went in for resignation. So quite a lot of people are leaving the jobs over there at the White House. There's an implosion going on. And it's so bad that his up-teen travel ban, because that's for our safety, has just been denied by another set of federal judges. I'm glad there are people out there that realize the insanity of this man that are actually can go toe-to-toe with him. But you see, it's gotten so bad now, and he wants this stuff to happen, he's looking to appeal to the Supreme Court of it. It's like, what? What the hell are you doing? You know, what gets me is that this is somebody's livelihood. You understand that? There are people that go on diplomatic missions and actually do fair trade and business through traveling. And granted, they are not of the same faith I am or you are. But at the end of the day, they're not over here trying to destroy me or any of us. There are some insurgents and there's some radicals out there. Yes, I'm not going to say that there isn't. But there are some that are grown in America too. I mean, and let's be real here, some of them are Protestant and Catholic. So you forget that as you are once again trying to, how can I put this? As you are once again profiling someone else just because they have something different than you are, all of a sudden now they're the enemy. You don't even know what the hell your enemy looks like. I mean, Donald Trump is fighting a ghost. Hell, Obama wasn't even in office for like those, last 3 weeks or so? Or not even 3 weeks, those few months, because it was his show now. And he was going after Obama, who's not even president anymore, which is sad to say. And then he's talking about like this whole Russia probe thing is a witch hunt. Now you all know, call a spade, right? Donald Trump knows a witch hunt better than any of us. Remember he did the whole birthers thing? At least then that was the start of his campaign and it quietly went away, but it came back with a vengeance later on. And then he had that whole cult of personality that got him all his supporters and everything else. Like, I remember going over to the Chinese restaurant yesterday. I know some of you saw that picture where I took a picture of a truck that has the Trump thing on the background. I hope he didn't pay that much for every letter, because that guy, much like any other supporter that have opened their eyes as of late, are going to be very disappointed. Because, see, the thing is, since we're all in this together, he's screwing all of us, by the way. With his sort of screwball tactics and stuff, he's screwing all of us. He didn't even afford to buy us dinner first. I mean, you're going to take us out. See, he took us out of the Trans-Pacific Agreement, right? He took us out of the Climate Summit. He's going to take us out of a lot of things. And whereas you got to understand, since we are a big superpower in that, all we had to do was make agreements, see what's going on, and, dissolve anything that doesn't agree with the best interests, right? So as we're out of that picture, guess who's going to go ahead and sweep all that stuff up? China, which he has licenses from that he can make money for, and then Russia, which he's buddying up with and selling our secrets out to. I remember his whole thing, I have every right to share secrets with Russia. No, you fucking don't. If it's at that point of national security and all of us wanting to hold on to any sort of liberties that we have to put our trust in our government to keep us safe and help regulate things that we don't have the ability or the power to regulate, yeah, there is a problem with this. And then not to mention the whole issue with North Korea. Now let me tell you this, if it was for the best interest, if Trump is so buddy-buddy with China and Russia, how come they're not telling North Korea to stop their whole nuclear program? You understand what I'm saying? If Saudi Arabia is on our side to go ahead and hunt down and take care of terrorists, why haven't they done that before Trump got in office? You understand what I'm saying? Like, put two and two together. See, the thing about it is certain countries are not going to do certain things. They'll tell us that they will, but you got to understand two sides of the coin. And you see right now, I don't believe anything the man says. I didn't believe anything he said when he went up there on his inauguration speech and said, "This American carnage must end." Well, you mean progress? I mean, if you're going to go ahead and try to destroy progress, you're doing a damn fantastic job with that. Which is sad, because we need progress. There is a problem going on. And it's not just him. It's all those that follow him. And you see, now it's gotten to a crazier level because Kathy Griffin, she went ahead and did her Trump decapitation, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it is art in a way, but in another way, it's, you're looking at it and you're like, I can't say it's entirely offensive because remember all those lynching photos of Obama that came out? Like when he won the presidency and all that? I mean, these are just people doing this stuff because of shock value. If anything, here's how you notice that people like to go ahead and be racist. It's not hard to be racist. It's not hard to go ahead and dispel hate. As a matter of fact, it's a full-time job trying to be a very decent person. You all that work in retail know this. Or any job where you got to deal with customer service, you know this. You have to keep that smile on. You have to keep trying to explain what's going on even though the person's not getting it. You know what I'm saying? You're there. You're standing there. Your feet hurt. You want to go home. You want to go ahead and get away from all this nonsense, but you can't because you still got another half hour to go and such. And even then, when you take your half hour for lunch, you still got to find a way back to the clock and clock out so you can have your break. But you still have to be there because you still have to deal with more and more ignorance before you go home. And then you always wonder why this is happening to you. That's probably what it's like dealing with people like Trump. That's why a lot of people are just taking their severance pay and they're leaving. However, all this nonsense is trickling down because every time this family, and I should say family because of Kushner and because of Ivanka and because of, Melania not living in the White House, you see the money is starting to run dry and they're going to find other ways to get that money. But going back to Kathy Griffin, you see, the thing about it is, freedom of speech, much like any of our amendments, are a very fluid concept right now. It won't take long for this moron to try to find something to be very offensive about. If there's one thing Donald Trump can do, Donald Trump is not proactive for shit, but he is very reactive to everything. So as this is made, and you see Kathy Griffin has the means to do that kind of stuff. Sure, she talks about how she's on the D list and everything else, but that woman got money. We won't go into skin tones and stuff. That might have something to do with it. But the thing about it is, she has money to actually convey and, defend her. Either way, she's going to land on her feet when she does outrageous stuff like that. Now, for up-and-coming performers and creatives like myself and other people I know, we do stuff like that. Oh, they'll probably put us in a detention center or whatever. And we won't even be able to stand trial. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have that sort of backup like she does. Keep in mind, double standards do play a role in this thing. It would work for her, and Jim Carrey, he came up and defended her by saying, we as comedians have the right to push the barriers and everything else, as you should. But you see, the thing about it is, when you push the barriers, some people can take it in stride, but there are people like Donald Trump that can't handle anything. Unless it's something good about them, then that's something they approve of. But if it's something that they can't handle, you see what I'm saying? It's going to be an entire backlash. So I'm just waiting for that huge backlash to come, because I know she had a little bit, but it's not enough to where it affects all of us. Something's got to strike her down to the point where it affects all of us. That's usually how it goes with somebody like Donald Trump. Because the man can't even be accountable when you try to stick him to the issues. He'll try to, that Covfefe thing, everybody was looking up to see what that meant. And I commend you for doing that, but you got to remember this. This is the same guy who pretty much says, wouldn't it be nice if we had friendlier terms with Russia? This is the same guy who will go up here and talk about how Obama was wiretapping Trump Tower to get secrets through a microwave. You understand, right? So when he does that wild crap and you're all looking at it, keep an eye on him. Like, try to keep one eye on the wild stuff, but keep an eye on what he's doing. Because there is such a thing about Donald Trump throwing blinders up just to go ahead and take us away from him. You know what I mean? Like the whole firing all those missiles in an empty airfield that opened up the next day after he did it. Oh, that is a war-drawn area. Of course it is. And you're supposed to keep an eye on it. You're supposed to use this stuff as a last resort. I don't know why everybody thinks, hey, bomb and nuke, bomb and nuke, bomb and nuke everything. No. Last resort. Be tactful about this. But see, if there's one thing, like, common sense has gotten beaten down in so many ways. Common decency is comatose, and respect for each other, well, if you want something rare. That's how it has gone as of late. So I'm not surprised when people do a bunch of hatred things and go ahead and spray paint the N-word on somebody's house, which has happened to little LeBron. And LeBron had to say something about that, regarding like the racism that's still apparent in America. Yeah, it never went anywhere, but it's amplified even more because you got xenophobic in there. You got all them people in there sitting there acting this way. Because it's the easiest thing to do. It doesn't take much. When you hear somebody say something racist and stuff, yeah, the first thing you do, you get all up in hives about it, and then you're willing to go and fight against it. Yeah, you should stand against hate, but let's be honest here. A lot of people do that because they're not about that shit. They do it because it's shock value. It's the only way they're going to get their 15 minutes of fame by doing this sort of thing. Like, I'm going to sit right there. I'll be like this. Yeah, you go ahead and try to spray paint the N-word on my house and see if you don't get cracked upside the face. See, because at that point, you're on my threshold. You're on my property. I'm allowed to go ahead and just find a baseball bat and go after your ass then. Because, see, the point is, or a double barrel shotgun, because the point is, you are crossing a threshold. When you do that kind of stuff, yeah, you too bold and you need to be put in your place. But you see, the thing about it is, you can't just go and attack everybody for being racist. That's just them being stupid. And a comeuppance usually comes for people that do that sort of thing. Then you'll realize that hate begets hate, but, Donald Trump is such a punchline to himself. Like, when he goes ahead and does some of these things, there's one part of it that's funny, and then there's the other part where you realize it affects everybody because he's on a global bandstand now, and the people that were blinded and conned by him put him there. And it's only going to get crazier. I'm not going to say worse. I'm just going to say it's going to get crazier. We as people, once again, we as the nation, we have to be better than our government. And we can't just let little things like racism hold us back. I mean, sure, every day it's like walking on a tightrope. I know. And so does anybody else out there that works in journalism or media or basically any sort of lifestyle to try to make ends meet. Because, they're trying to do this whole prepaid healthcare thing. Nobody brings in enough money to even think of prepaid healthcare. Some people can't even do a prepaid phone plan well, let alone prepaid healthcare. I can understand that he is trying so hard to build a legacy for himself, but that legacy is nothing but sadness, pettiness, and woe. It's not even a legacy built on for other people to even want to emulate. And then all those people who have backbreaking jobs, who have jobs that, healthcare is a damn necessity. And they will not be able to be covered for it. Trying to bring back the coal industry, knowing full well that health insurance is needed. See, the man never been in a coal mine all his life, so he really doesn't know what he's doing. And coal's not the future for all of us. We need to get away from fossil fuels. To be honest with you, we should have had alternative fuel sources by now, but once again, politics in the way. But by the time they figure this out, it'll be too late, because for some reason, people just love to be late. Especially if it's people with money. And then we're once again back in the same old thing.
My old ways will make somebody better. I'm gonna make America great again. I'm gonna go ahead and do all these sort of things that won't benefit anybody but me and my friends. Oh, forget all of you. It's the weekend. I'm going golfing. Bigly.
Now, I apologize to all of you because you can't handle comedy, but that is exactly how he sounds to me. So there's reality to this. And usually whenever he talks, this is my response.
Don't believe him.
And considering that this is the J-Man show, you can consider that apology invalid. It's just, damn. You gotta understand, like, at the end of Luke Cage, he even said, you gotta go backwards to go forwards, right? And damn if we're not going back. So we of the new generation, because the old generation, they need to retire, okay? We need to grab that pendulum, and we gotta push that shit forward. That's what we have to do. No non-involvement this time. Time to get active. If there's one thing that we like to do in modern America, or hell, modern society in general, we love to not be involved in anything, right? We love to not be involved, to not give a damn, and oh yeah, the most important thing, when somebody asks us something, we don't know. It's like that all the time. But of course, you can blame the generation gap all you want to, but it really depends on what people do and how they develop their work ethic and how they want to make things come together into a different way. So the change is necessary for all of us, because nobody thought that this bizarreness would happen in the 21st century. But I don't know, you can call it an oversight, farsight, or well, I don't know what you can call it. Like, some of us even caught this and looked to see that nothing good was coming from this, but considering the man's followers and all that think he can do no wrong because he hasn't done any wrong to them yet, keep in mind the level system. That's why they sit there and they say this stuff now.
He's going to protect me. He's going to help me save money. He's got my safety in mind.
And let me help you with that. Lies were made, contradictions were kept. And he doesn't give a damn about any of us, and it shows. Every single day. The man took what we feared the most, twisted around into his own narrative, and that's why we have a clusterfuck of excuses and all-out insanity right now. We're all afraid of something. And a lot of us are afraid of being wrong. That's why so many followers of Trump that see this stuff know it's wrong. They have a hard time admitting it unless it really affects them. So you're going to have some people that will follow him to the letter and everything else. And God bless them on that. Because reality will hit you hard. I know this. But you see, I'm not going to say that Obama was the perfect president. Far from it. Ain't nobody perfect in this world. Not at all. But you see, as Donald Trump, is trying to isolate all of us from progress, trying to come up with all these budget plans that won't benefit anyone but himself and Incompetence Inc. and the rest of the Billionaires Club. That's the problems. And you see, all of us, we hold on to old ideas because that's what we have. We're afraid to move on to new ideas because those new ideas don't necessarily have the safety factor to them. Now, some of y'all will probably be like, well, gee, their healthcare plan is a new idea. Yes, it is. But their healthcare plan has a whole lot of holes in it. And their healthcare plan that people like to throw around, you see, Obamacare, as you like to call it, wasn't made entirely without the GOP's involvement. Some of that wild stuff in there was from the GOP, who was in charge of the House at one time, before things got total Republican. Of course, they dropped the ball this time because none of the holes inside of that new healthcare plan has any sign of safety in it. And we all want to be safe, but how much is too safe to the point where you don't have the liberty anymore? You understand that? Let that be a question for all of you out there. How safe are you to the point where you don't have the liberty of living anymore? You got to think about how your bills fall into place, and then all this health care. You know what I mean? At least with the Affordable Health Care Act, you had some chance. I mean, nothing is ever going to be fair because, hell, your health is a business as far as everybody else is concerned. And if it's to the point where you're trying to work in retail to try to get that money for yourself so you're able to have that standing ground, and you know you got to pull hours that is inhumanly possible for you to pull so that you can go ahead and make all these ends meet, that's why a lot of people have moved back home with their parents and all these sort of things, because the livable wage is so rare now. We need to have livable wages. Businesses need to give people raises instead of just keeping them at that same level they started with. If you are making the same level at 25 that you made at 19, something is wrong. You gotta look for another job. You gotta look for another place. Like, when I want to tell a lot of y'all out there who are coming into the market and everything else, remember, the first job you got might be really shitty. The second job, for some of us that are rebounding and getting where we need to go, yeah, it might not be the best job. But here's the thing. You're doing it so you can get to your real place. Never settle. Keep looking. If you have it to the point where it's tied up, but make sure it's flexible enough for you to leave. Don't go out there, get money, bring it in, spend. Save that stuff up. Like, be tactful about this. The girl with the fine booty at the club can wait. I'm just saying. It's just, we got to hold together. We got to be a little bit more tactful about how we make it through these times. It's going to get even crazier. And I just wonder, and I hope that if the Supreme Court does get involved, I hope that they see this from a real point of view rather than his concerns. Because Donald Trump's concerns, They're not real concerns. He don't live in the real world like we do. Outside of Trump Tower, where he called all the shots, how do you think somebody like that can relate to you? He was born into money. He was never a self-sufficient businessman. He never worked hard to bring his stuff together. And you know this. He was born into money. Learn the history of the man that you vote for. And I'm only saying man because, yeah, that's a man in there now. And far from it, because he's over here just putting the screws to the ladies. He don't want them to have anything. But you know what's so sad about that is, you got a lot of other people within our government that really don't believe in what he's saying, but they want to be on his good side so that they don't get caught in the crosshairs. It's pretty much like an elementary school bully or high school bullies. That's all this is. They act more like they're in high school than they do as civil servants. Their job is to work with the public. Everybody wants to go back to the private sector. Hold up. The private sector, yeah, sure, you might think there's a veil of safety to the private sector, but let's be real here. It depends on when they call your number up. Alright? So, those of them that are quitting, they made their money. They're just trying to wash their hands and get away from it. And at that point, you really can't touch them. But the ones that are in the public view, oh yeah, they're up for it because it's parody. They're up for it because, you know what? There's truth in this stuff. When they go ahead and they do all this wild shit, yeah, they need to be held accountable too. By any means. But you don't have to go after them and pretty much bring your actual malice in. It's kind of like looking back at the Kathy Griffin thing again. Is it parody? Is it the fact that everybody is unhappy with Donald Trump? Because there is quite a lot of people that are. Is there a fact that there are calls for impeachment for Donald Trump? Or is it actual malice and she really wants to do that? Is she speaking on behalf of all women who are so sick of this administration? Because she's not speaking on my behalf. See, I've done memes, just like a lot of you have, about Donald Trump. But I don't do any depicting him as a disembodied head. So it's one of those things you look at and then you're like, I see where she's going with it. But you see, she didn't stand too strongly with it either. At first she did, but then she went ahead and did an apology video for it. And either way, CNN still severed ties with her. And that's where you realize where your freedom of speech, it costs. The cost of living and all that sort of thing, and running around saying what you want to say, comes with a price. It's like whenever I do this show, I have to also think, am I willing to pay the price for my freedom of speech? Because if I'm not, and I go ahead and put this up anyway, I can't bitch about any of the repercussions that come. And that goes for anybody. Think about it. You have the freedom of speech, yes, but can you pay the price for it? Is it actual malice what you're pointing out? You know? And just like all this other wild shit that's out there nowadays, like some people get called out on that stuff and they claim harassment. And you see Donald Trump can play the same thing. Which is why certain episodes of the J-Man show, see, I don't hate him. I don't like what the hell he's doing, and I don't think he's a good president, and I don't think he should even be president. But I also know this much. I respect the American soil and where I live at. So I also know that if I'm going after him on actual malice and I'm saying all sorts of hateful things, I'm no better than he is. Because you ever like look at the guy, and I mean really look at the guy, he will amplify the hate that's in you. Somehow that sick asshole can actually do it. But you see, the thing about it is, when you fight Donald Trump, fight him on a level that you know he can never go at. Fight him on a level and make him elaborate on his whole thing, because that's how you make a liar catch themselves. And you all know Donald Trump is a very good liar. So you can't just sit here, look at him and say, oh, this is how I feel about it, and then do like a decapitation head photo. No. It's not any good when you have to go ahead and do those sort of things. Like, when we saw Obama lynching, all of us were pissed off about that. Well, mostly minorities. Some people, they didn't really care about it, but when there's one decapitation picture of Donald Trump, people can't handle it. Go balls to the walls crazy. I wonder about some of those Bush memes. I know there are some out there where he was depicted in a crazy way because, once again, that's the president of the United States, and that's supposed to be the representative of all of us. He's supposed to be a president of all people. And he's failing so many ways. Because, see, the thing about it is, much like Animal Farm, remember, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So exactly what is Donald Trump being the president of? Because he's not being the president of all people like he said he was going to be, and now was he? So you got to think about that sometime. This isn't even a Trump watch. This is more or less a Black Label episode because it's at a point where you realize we want respect from our own government, but you see, we don't even respect each other. If anything, the only way we are ever really going to be safe is just by doing the best we can, hoping for better, living each day to the fullest, because you never know when any of these psychopaths will run about and cause more trouble than need be. And see, as they go ahead and do these things, it has a ripple effect. And you see, luckily, none of us have posted anything to the point where that ripple effect has come and bit us in the ass yet. But you do have to keep in mind that the FCC is trying to roll back net neutrality rules, and then you have to also understand that Donald Trump doesn't read, and everybody in Incompetence Inc., they are trying so hard not to pay attention to the Constitution anymore. And then they still got the nerve to want to say, this is for you, this is for your safety, oh, we're doing this for the people, oh, we're doing this not for our self-interest. But you can kind of see that seeping in through the cracks every time they talk. So the best thing to do about when Donald Trump says something, not just hold him to it, but remember that he's not going to be at no press briefings. He's trying so hard to get rid of those, and then he's at the same time, he still has to do a State of the Union address, and we know he's not ready for that. And then you can't just go by that kind of stuff, because you see, the reason why I think this man forgets that he is president. I think that he forgets that he's not a king. He's trying so hard to be King Trump rather than President Trump. And that's really what messes him up. It hurts him so bad. But you see, when you have somebody who just do their job, you just can't do your job with somebody like Donald Trump. Best thing you probably could do is leave. If you had your morals in the right way. Because like I said, if there's one thing that man can do, he can amplify hatred, malicious thinking, and everything else. And these are just the day of everybody being ignorant nowadays. These are the days of ignorance. And for those of you out there that have common sense, righteous beliefs, want to make the world a better place, I'm not saying be quiet about it. Oh, far from it. No, speak your mind. But understand what you're paying for every time you open your mouth. And when you do open your mouth, elaborate, stand strong, and like I said, the truth will be on your side too. Because every time I do this sort of thing, the truth is on my side. So that's why I don't back down about it. The only problem with the truth is you may never be liked for telling the truth. People love to be lied to, love to be buffered, love to be told things that are so far-fetched that it makes them feel empowered to do things. Some people like that. But when you're telling the truth, you might find yourself being out there by yourself. And you might find it that some people are so about the pipe dream of being safe that they won't stand with you. But when you got nothing to lose and you're just as in the shit as somebody else is for standing strong in their belief and telling the truth about where they see themselves, you will stand with them. And you see, the thing about it is, it ain't just me that feels this way. I know there's a lot of you out there that feel this way. But you gotta be tactful. Like, whereas I go ahead and I do my art, it's in response to something really stupid he's done. But as I go ahead and create some stuff to be proactive, I will never want his demise. You see what I'm saying? I just don't want him to be president. And as it goes down the line, I don't want Pence to be vice president. Paul Ryan being Speaker of the House, now he had morals there for a little bit, right? He wasn't even going to side with Trump. Things changed. Probably got something on him. So if anything, you'll realize that that whole area of our government needs to be cleansed. But in the end, y'all wanted an outsider. And Donald Trump was your outsider, wasn't he? That's why you got to be careful what you wish for. And I'm talking about all you mainstream people out there that actually believe this man. This is more of a be careful what you wish for scenario. Or we should say be careful what you voted for. And that's all I have for you on the J-Man Show today. Because, it's Friday, Wonder Woman's out now, and if you really want to get away from all this kind of stuff, go to the movies, go watch Wonder Woman, and, just enjoy yourself today, because, honestly, we need to take value in every day we have before some bullshit gets stirred up, and then all of a sudden, we're all out there in a foxhole wondering why the fuck we're here. And we're not even getting anything good out of it. So, I want all of you out there to really just live it up, enjoy yourselves, be mindful as you do, and stay true to yourselves. Because this was a very serious takes here. Because we're living in a time of serious takes. And we need to be careful in what we go through. But come back next week. And I know it's been late. I know. But you see, I got such a heavy load of things to do. And I know I'm supposed to cover my question of the week, but you know what I'm going to do? Since today was a serious episode, I'm going to cover the question of the week next Thursday on episode 28. Until then, this is Jay on behalf of the J-Man Show, signing off. Peace.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.